Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Tuesday, April 15th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am live. It is week 16 of 2025, and in my neck of the woods it is currently 56 degrees with a high of 62 and a low of 47. At least in my neck of the woods. Welcome to my broadcast. I am here for the next 3 hours for coloring, companionship, chat, friendship, giggles, and laughs, and the what, the how, and the why of adult coloring. In other words, I show you what I'm coloring, I show you how I'm coloring it, and then I explain why I did the things I did. Welcome to my YouTube peeps who come in and chat with me. That is always delightful. Welcome to my YouTube peeps who watch this broadcast after the fact. And welcome to my Facebook peeps who see this broadcast when I download it into my group, Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. All right. So I want to show you, let's see. Well, first of all, let me show you what I'm going to be coloring tonight. This is our buddy color, which means it is an image that I make available to you out of one of my books. This one is Easter Parade Jubilee, and we just started this. And meanwhile, we had just finished our picture that we dedicated to Carmen, Jesus holding the little girl. I think it turned out beautifully. And I'm glad you enjoyed the project from what you guys are telling me. All right, so we're doing our little fluff bums here in a basket. And again, Easter Parade Jubilee. Plus, you get 2 other images that I made available to you guys. All right, the second image I'm going to be working on tonight is out of Kirby Roseanne's Dark Fairy Tales. And we're working on our Little Red Riding Hood who had an uninteresting encounter in the woods with the wolf. This is Kirby Roseanne's newest book. And thank you for all the feedback on this as well. All right. Let me set that off to the side. Let me get this. So guys, how are you doing today? Win, lose, or draw? Let's see who's popped in. Mamie, so glad to see you, Mamie. Hello, Maggie. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday to one and all. Stephanie Wynn, your windows are being put in tomorrow, not next week. All right. Hello, Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. All right, you can tell what kind of mood I am in tonight. All right, let me get my paper towel. Let me get my scratch pad. Looks like I'm going to need a new piece of paper. I would say my day today is going to be, or is a draw. But tomorrow will be a win. Because I'm getting a delivery of my newest book, Elegant Embossed Eggshells Jubilee. And as you can see, we've got a surprise guest who did the cover. Grace Janney did it. And there's some of the images that are in the book. So these are all eggshell patterns, embossed. So I think it's going to be a cool book. All right. Now, Maggie already has a WIP out of it. And of course, you know it was going to be the mouse. Check it out. Bonnie, hello. Popping in to say hi. Hi, Bonnie. Got this page started today. We'll be lurking for tonight. She's talking about our fluff bums. Hello, Sherry. So anyway, there's a little mouse that Maggie did out of the newest book. And Sherry, have you noticed I don't have to call you Cherry anymore because my phone isn't picking up your voice. Or your name, I mean. We used to have a problem with that with Siri. I would say Sherry and it would pop up. Actually, it's Siri, Sherry. Okay. So what we need to get is a soft yellow. Very, very light. So Stephanie, how long have you been waiting for your windows? All right, let's keep going. Now, this is my light yellow on my fluff bums. Okay, Maggie, thank you. And you want to be sure that you get out to these little pokey feathers here. And again, I'm working on my lightest areas. Excuse me. Take your time, build your colors up. Now, before I forget, does anybody have a birthday or an anniversary today that we can celebrate with you? Okay. Now, notice how light and delicate this yellow is. And that's exactly what you want. And Grace, do you see how this is really working with our light, medium, and dark on our grayscale? Whoops. Okay. Now, I'm going to come in with a medium yellow. Oh my gosh, this is already ridiculously cute. All right, picture's done. We're just going to have yellow on the cheeks. Cheeks? Chicks. Which we've also called chucks. All right. Let's put a little of this lighter yellow right over the eye here. Then I'm going to come in with a brighter yellow. Let me swatch that for you. This is the current yellow that I'm using right here, down below. This is the brighter yellow. Now, very, very lightly with your brighter yellow, okay, Maggie. All right, everybody stand up. Maggie's back. Very, very lightly come in with your brighter yellow. As the medium color on our grayscale. And I'm talking about really light, guys. Don't pound your pencils into the paper. Of course, it always helps when I'm on camera. All right. Now take your time. Again, you want this to be soft and delicate. Who was it that asked me a while back how to color baby chicks? All right, and let's do a little bit, just a finger blend here. Okay. Now, let's go to our little baby chicks over here. Well, let's see. This candle over here is contained in a lantern. And this candle over here is way in the background. Hello, Jennifer. All right. Now we're just adding our secondary gold or yellow to our chicks. See, now I'm calling them cheeks. Now, again, with this darker yellow, you want to be extremely light with it. Well, Stephanie, that'll be great that you'll be able to get your coloring set up back. All right, now, I've basically colored the medium areas with my brighter yellow, but now I need to work to add just a little bit more and blend that with my lighter yellow. Now, this is where you engage your artistic mojo. And start adding this beautiful detail. Now, this grayscale may not necessarily indicate that we do this, but what if I told you before? Use your smarts to make your picture look really good. And notice how in me bringing up this darker yellow, now we've got this lighter chest area. Now, if that doesn't look cute, I don't know what does. Now, I want you to notice the difference between the two chicks since I started detailing in this yellow between this one and this one here. Does everybody see that? I don't want you guys just slapping yellow on these baby chicks. Okay, let's do this little guy over here. I think we've gone into the realm of cuteness overload. Now, be sure that if you do something like put your darker yellow on the outside of your baby chick, like we did on the one on the left, be sure that you do this on the right as well. You want to balance that. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but you want that continuity. Okay. Now we're going to pop in one more color. And that's going to be a gold. Sorry for the wiggle, I'm just moving my chair around. Okay. Now, I have a couple of golds here. I'm going to go with a slightly darker gold. And if you ever have any question on how a color is going to look on your image, just take your gold swatch it right next to the edge of the paper, and bring it near whatever you're coloring at the time. See how I'm doing that? All right, So I'm going to start in the middle of the forehead here. And what do I always tell you? Skim in your color until you get the intensity that you want. Finger blend. I'm going to come back with my light yellow here. I don't know if I just missed this patch or what. This is my lightest yellow that I started out with. All right. Now, back to my gold. And this is where you're going to get your depth, dimension, and detail as you bring that gold up into the head area. Now, again, the grayscale doesn't call for it, but your artistic mojo does. And let's go ahead and dip it into the area near the beak. And see how we've got this little streak of color right here that I just added? That makes this look more realistic. And I'm going to pull out in a second so that you can see this whole effect. See how I'm bringing that gold up into the body? Just little streaks of it. All right. And I want you to notice that by adding these little gold, what do I want to say? Streaks, smudges, it really gives you, like I said, a realistic bent on your coloring. Okay. Hi, Sarah. Sarah, you're working on the ants. Sarah has made it a mission, has made it a mission to color through the entire Critters in Tutu's Jubilee. Sarah, shoot me a picture of that ant in the tutu and I'll show it. Okay, now we've got this little area by the eye. We'll add a little bit of that gold to give it depth. Okay, let me pull out. Well, Sarah, I just wanted to show Grace the picture of the ants in the tutu, whether it's colored or not. Okay, Stephanie, going to say goodnight. Contractor's here at 8. Guys, look how rich our little chicks look. Have fun with your windows tomorrow. Hello, Janie. Where's Janie? Oh, there's Janie. Hi. Okay. So Sarah just shot me a picture or sent me a picture. Here is the one of the ants in a tutu. Oh, Janie, I must have missed you earlier. Stephanie's going to go corral the cats. Isn't that the cutest little thing? All right. Now let's continue with our gold. I'm going to come back with my medium yellow here and just close down this little white patch a little bit. Let's see. And then I'm going to come in with my gold. What is this color? This is a ginger yellow bicolor. Janie, you love your Star Joy Gold. Have only used the blueberry and gold, afraid I will mess them up. Well, Janie, I'm sorry that you're afraid to use your pencils because pencils are meant to be used. Hey, if I can mess up on live broadcast and shake it off, which I do, you guys should be able to mess up in private. But regardless of that, you should never be talking negative language about your coloring. If you make an error, you go with the flow. Who was it that says, "Don't be afraid of perfection, you'll never reach it"? I think that was Salvador Dali. Okay, let's take a look at this. I think we've got some pretty realistic looking baby chicks. Or chucks, as Mamie has renamed them. Any questions? Okay. Now, let's go ahead and do the beaks. Oh, chucks are sassy cheeks. So we want to pull a light, medium, and dark orange. Hallelujah. That's right, chicks and chucks, boys and girls. I was almost going to say that. But now we know, chicks and chucks. Let me find the light orange that I want. Okay. Let's see how this works out. I think that's my medium. We'll see. No, that's my dark. There's my medium. And my light is too close to my medium. Let's try this again. Dark. Medium. And light. Okie dokie. Let's work on our first nose here. Or beak, as the case may be. There's our dark. Carly, hello. There's our medium. And then our light. And I'm going to go back with my dark. Carly, hi there, teacher, and everyone else. I got to lose today. Have been crying all day today, been upset. Here's my dark. I'm just going to extend that edge a little bit. Check it out. Again, look how realistic that looks. Oh, Carly, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, Carly, I will definitely add you on my prayer list. So sorry for your loss. Oh, she had a massive heart attack. Oh. "62 years old. Her name was Monica. All right, here's my dark. Here's our medium. Here's my light. Okay, and then I'm going to, okay, Grace, thank you. Come in, back in with my gold. Which is my brown. And we'll very lightly go up the center of our baby chick. As well as around the outside of our beak. Well, Carly, sit back and relax and enjoy the coloring. And then I'm going to use a little bit of gold right over that eye. Or light brown, as I've been calling it. I'm going to go on my first chick as well and hit that with my gold over the eye. And what that's going to do is that's going to give us a good expression on the chicks. Okay, back to our second chick here. and our darker color. Now, if those two aren't the most adorable chicks, I don't know what are. That's right. We'll see who our friends and families are. All right, I'm going to wait on doing the footies. But I am going to do a light finger blend here. Now, I'm going to take a black pen and on the dark part of the eye, you got to be really careful here on the pupil. I'm going to darken in that black. Don't color the whole area. Yes, I started this one yesterday. Okay, let's go to the eye to the left. And let's go to the other two eyes. Of our little guy. On the right. Notice that I'm not coloring that in completely. And then we're just going to put in just a little bit of black over here. How cute is that? And notice how that really brings up the eyes. Okay. Guys, you got to work on those details. And again, you'll notice that I didn't just throw yellow on these baby chicks. Sarah, what are you going to do one day after you finish Critters and Tutu's Jubilee? All right, let me look up on the internet and see what color baby chicks' feet are. Oh, let's see here. Let's see, images. Okay. Bright orange. I suspected that they were pretty orange, but I wanted to double check that out. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that orange. So we have our dark, medium, and light from earlier. Hold on, I gotta check something out here. All right, footies. Hi, Angie. Now I'm going to start with my darker orange first. Today's Tuesday. Polly should be stopping in. He said he'd be in Tuesdays and Saturdays. Okay, there's our dark. And then we'll come in with medium. And notice how I am blending so that we don't have streaky lines on here. I gotta see what color the nails are of baby chicks. We'll go with a light orange or a gold. Okay. Whoops. Well, there you go. My point completely fell out. Now, it may look a little awkward right now on these footies, but remember, you've got to trust the process and we'll work our colors around this. All right. Now, my light gold that I used on the feathers, now I'm going to take a little bit of, let's see, I think I'm going to use my ivory. And I'm going to add a little bit of ivory to the top of the footy. And that's going to give us a little more dimension and detail here. Now, my question to you is, would any of you have thought to do that? Yes or no? And then we'll come along and put a little darker on the bottom. Okay, Janie, Angie, Mamie, Grace. No, okay. And let's do that on this last one here. Look how much more realistic that looks. Check it out. Guys, I can't say this enough. Don't rush through your coloring. Okay, now let's establish some colors for our hay. So we're going to want some mediums, and I would say on the range of light, medium, and dark, we'll go in the middle of that range. You know, there's a lighter range, a medium range, and a dark range of whatever colors you're choosing. Okay, let me zoom in. Here's our dark. Here's our medium. And I've got them backwards. Oh well, we'll do it again. My Linda, so glad to see you. Let's try this again. Dark, medium, and light. Okay. Let's work on some hay. Hey Jude, da 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 dum, da 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 dum, da 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 dum. These are the colors that I'm using, Janie. Oh, my Linda, you have a grandson named Jude. There you go. How old is he? He is one of twins. They are 3 years. There you go. Okay. I'm going to change up my dark, medium, and light because I found a better dark that I like. Let me re-swatch these colors. There's my dark. There's my medium. There's my light. Change it up to this, guys. Okay. Now I'm going to start on the bottom. That's where our darkest part is of the stack. Now, just be sure when you do this that you don't confuse the floor with the nest. This floor is separate right here. And don't forget when you're doing your coloring, especially on something like this nest, that when you lift your pencil, do that little turn. All right, I'm on the left-hand side here. Pull out. By the way, who's coloring this with me tonight at this moment? I know a lot of you like to wait until the next day. Angie, Janie, Grace. Dorothy, I hope you're coloring this with us. This nest is going to look really cool. Siri, set timer for 7 minutes. Set timer for 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Counting down.
Now, I'm on the right-hand side here. Getting closer towards the top. Now, I want you to notice that I'm not being super precise when I place my darker color. Now, be careful on the right-hand side because we've got some flowers here. All right, there's my dark. Then I'm going to go back. Let me pull out just a little bit. And I'm going to start coloring up medium. Now, just in case anybody was wondering, this color that I'm using right now is a Crayola Twistable. I like twistable pencils. I think they're really cool, and they've got a lot of lead in them. Mamie, I don't think that you have the link for that. Now, while I'm here, because I just ran into a light area, and then I'm going to come back with my dark. And see how we've got that looking really cool. What I said, Mamie, is that you don't have the link for the Crayola Twistables. I'll have to send that to you. Give me a second, guys. I really like these pencils. The colors are good. They feel good to color with. I think the largest size they come in is 50. Hold on, guys. I'll have you that link momentarily. Okay, Mamie, it's on the way. All right. So I'm running out of time. Here's my lighter color. And then I'm going to come in with my darkest color. And we'll give this a little more personality. Isn't that cool? Janie, you have the 18 pack. How do you like them? I'll tell you what, you get a really big bang for your buck because the leads last a long time. Okay, there's my light color. Well, hello, Papillon. All right. Let me pull out. Check it out what we've done so far. I am really happy with our baby chicks. One is a chick, female, one is a chuck, male. I think we've done good on this so far. What do you guys think? Okay. Next project. Now, I've been working on the wolf with our grays. You don't like the twistables for smaller spaces. Well, let me show you something about that, Janie. If you have these little hand sharpeners. I buy them for cheap. You get like 72 or something like that. You can extend your twistable out, and you can very carefully sharpen the point. Let me use a different sharpener so you can see this. Check it out. So they do sharpen. There you go. I'm really trying to get this in focus. Okay, Janie, night-night. Okay, so last night we were working on our wolf. Let me pull out my pencils here that I rubber band together. And last night I started with my light on this back leg. Oh, Grace, tonight just flew, didn't it? That's why you guys love me. I'm so entertaining. Oh, my. Now, let me continue my light coloring down the foot here. Now remember, this is line art. Sherry, good night. All right, let's go back up to the top. And I'm using my darkest pencil to shade and shadow here. Now, I'm going to come in on the edge here. And between the toes. Isn't that beautiful? Now I'm going to, okay, Maggie, thank you. I'm going to come back in with my light. Isn't that beautiful? Hold on, guys. I gotta put a sweater on. You know, we're at that time of year where it gets really warm and then it gets cool again. Oh. Give me a second here. Okay. Let's try this again here. So now I'm going to come in with Payne's Gray. We're going to add another layer of color. Now, if you think about the leg of an animal, it's got those, the bones in it. Look at the hind leg of your dog, and you'll see what I mean. Whoops. And notice how I'm emphasizing this between the toes. And notice how I'm doing it, like I said, on either side here. And that's really making these toes show up. Now, that's really important because remember, it's these toes that attacked Little Red Riding Hood. Okay, now back up to the top. Here's my black. Now, the first thing I need to do is I need to darken the area here between the hind leg and the rump of the wolf. In other words, I'm shadowing that leg. And as soon as I do that, that makes our leg look more distinct. I don't know why Kirby put a flower there, but hey. Okay, then as we move down the leg, we're going to darken that whole leg as well. And notice again that I'm shading on the joint areas. And where the bones in the legs would be. Now, I'm going to take my medium gray and I'm going to just very lightly darken these light areas a little bit. Now, you may not have to do that. It depends how you added your color, but I'm just feeling that I want that just a little bit darker. And notice, because of the way pencils behave, you don't lose that color underneath. Isn't that neat? Angry Bear, what do you think so far? Now I'm still on my medium here. I'll go back to my black shortly. Now I'm going to leave this little fluff of fur right here on the back joint of the leg where that sticks up. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom here. And again, right now this is specific to mine, but depending on how you colored yours, you may not have to do this. All right. I just don't want those areas sticking out like a sore thumb. That's along the lines of how we put ivory on teeth so that the teeth don't blare out when you are coloring a face. Okay, so let's come back with the black. I'm shadowing underneath these lines. And that way our leg looks bony. Maybe muscular is the word that I want. All right, let's get a little more of the shading. I'm sorry, shadowing right here. Again, I'm leaving that little fluff of hair basically alone. There you go. Now, don't get stupid with your black. Okay. Now, let's go to the other leg. I'm going to start out with my dark of my light medium dark. This is not my black or my Payne's gray. Then I'm going to go to my medium Now be careful here because the elbow of the foot is right here. Don't color this. Don't color this area right here. That's ground. So this is my medium. Now, Angry Bear, I want you to use your smarts when you're coloring these footies. It's okay to follow along with me, but in the end, you're the one that's got to shape and shadow this. Okay. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to take a light pink and color in that little pad. I'm going to come in with a slightly darker pink. And we're going to shadow that around the outside. And then I'm going to come back with my lighter pink, which I dutifully put away. Don't you hate that when you do that to yourself? And I'm going to blend these edges. Okay, then I'm going to come back with my medium gray. Notice how I'm leaving that area around the pad because it's lighter. That's going to be where I pull in my light gray. And then back to my medium. Now, I haven't even come in with my dark yet, gray. Which is my Payne's gray or my black. Angry Bear, are you having any problems with this since you're coloring along? Okay, back with my light gray. We'll get these light areas on the footy. And guys, the whole idea of this with these different shades is to make the leg look dimensional. Okay, Payne's gray. Now I'm going to use a little bit of my Payne's gray over my light color. We're just going to mute that down a little bit. And then I'm going to come in with my black. And this is where we're going to detail our bone structure. See how by adding that black that all of a sudden makes that dimensional? See it? Angry Bear, check out how I'm using that black line on the edge, or the black pencil, on the edge of where I colored with my lighter color, and that's making these tendons stick out more. Tendons and bones. I couldn't think of the word tendons before when I was talking about the other foot. See this major line right here through the entire thing? All the way down to the toe. Okay, now underneath the claw, I'm going to come in with my black. Same right here. And same right here. So in other words, I'm shading around the claws. Guys, bottom line, when you're coloring this stuff, you're coloring it to look like what makes sense to you. Oops. Now, again, you don't want this leg to look too stringy. So I'm going to come in with my medium gray. And I'm just very lightly going to go over the lighter portions of my leg. And again, because you're doing this with colored pencil, the colors don't disappear, they just change. That's why you can do this. So in other words, I'm changing the overall tone of the leg coloring after I added my dimensional light, medium, and dark to it. All right, let's pull out and take a look at this. Now I'm going to take my medium gray and I'm going to go back to my first leg and I'm going to continue to mute down these legs. Any questions? Hello, Sybilesque. Guys, what do you think now of the overall picture? Very metal. Okay. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with the spikes on the wolf. But for the moment, oh wait, I want to do one more thing on this footy. That light gray pad that I put around the pink, I'm not happy with that. It's a solid light gray. It doesn't look very dimensional at all. So I'm going to use my medium pencil on that and we're going to add, when I get back on camera with it, we're going to add some dark lines on that pad to make it look worn. Okay, now I'm happy. All right, basket. Now, the brown that I used on my baby chicks picture, specifically the Crayola pencil, I'm going to put that as my base color. Sybil-esque, how was your day today? Win, lose, or draw? Actually, I'm using this brown in my lighter areas. That'll be easier to do this. Keep in mind, if you use a color as a base color, that color is going to influence everything that you put on top of it. So sometimes you'll see me color everything in a base color. Other times, as I'm doing right now, I'm just doing the light portion of my basket. What was your win? Then I'm going to come in with my darker brown. Notice I'm putting the darker brown on each side of the vertical. And then we'll put our light brown on this last area of the basket. Okay. Now we have a dish towel or a towel right here to cover the basket. I'm going to go back with my reds. And the reason I'm doing that is that'll help balance out our picture. Now, I'm going to use slightly lighter reds than I used before. So here's my darker red. So, Sybilesk, you're still on bed rest, but that's fine. God's will gave me a dog sitter for the afternoon. So someone's coming in and taking care of your dog for you? Sweet. Then I'm going to come in with a medium red. Now, back to our dark red where we shade it. Let's see. Back to my dark red down here because this will be part of it. And then we'll come in. I'm going to use a medium pink. So, Sybilesk, you got your stitches out. Oh, you get your stitches out tomorrow. And hopefully I'll be able to walk again. Yay. Isn't that pretty? Okay. And then I'm going to have this little towel sticking out the other side. And then my light pink. Sibylesque, refresh my memory about what's going on with your leg. I'm going to watch Easter Sunday online. All right, let me pull out. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to use my... You had a thrombosis in your foot that had to be removed. Okay. We've got a little bit of rubber band or something going around this jar. I'm just going to make that purple. And then we'll make this a very light pink. And then we need to decide what's inside the jar. I think I'm going to make it like a grape jelly. Then I'm going to come in with my water-based marker and add some shading at the bottom, but I want you to notice that as soon as I put that marker down, I smudge it in. Now, the wax from the pencil is keeping the marker from absorbing into basically the paper. Isn't that cool looking? And then we'll add a very, very light blue. Up at the top. Now, I'm not happy with that pink jar top, so I'm going to add a little shading on it. That looks awful with just the one color. Much better. Okay. Now we've got our little bit of red in the basket to balance out the picture. Look how beautifully all this is coming together. Any questions? Angry Bear, any questions? Now, one more thing that I'm going to do before I call it an evening. This will take like 2 seconds. Happy Bear, Happy Bear. Angry Bear, did you ever think that you could tackle something like this? Angry Bear, did you find out that it's not hard? Now, I don't know about you, but if I were fighting a wolf, I would think that that would mean that I was going to scuff my knees a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of red. That's right, your middle name is Wolf, Sarah Wolf Thacker. And a little bit of Payne's Gray just to darken that red. And again, we only need to do it on one knee. Angry Bear, that's right. You can do it one bite at a time. There is absolutely no reason why you couldn't do any of the pictures in this book. Okay. Oh, this is the Three Little Pigs. Okay, I'm just bending these corners down a little bit. Whoops. Guys, check it out. So we worked on Little Red Riding Hood. And we worked on our baby chicks. This is from Easter Parade Jubilee. And I don't know about you, but I think that those baby chicks look pretty authentic. And that's the look that I wanted. Okay, guys, calling it an evening. This is ILene Vick for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Guys, joyous coloring. Love on each other. That's what our group is known for. Please be sure to hit that like button. We've just got to get up to 3 more to get 20. It's not going to kill anybody to hit that. And guys, please share this broadcast. If you enjoyed it, somebody else will. All right, guys. Love ya. Take care. Till tomorrow night then. Mamie, thank you so much for your help tonight. All right, guys. Bye.